Hey guys, just making a quick video covering the periodic table. Now to make this pretty quick, relatively simple. We won't go super in depth, just enough to get you guys started. So as you can see on my main screen right here, I have a picture of a periodic table. And periodic table, it might look a little bit different than the one you colored the other day. That's fine. Okay, not every periodic table is going to look exactly the same. Okay, sometimes they're going to use different colors. Sometimes we're not going to have these numbers off to the side and these numbers off to the top. There's just going to be some minor differences in some periodic tables, but it's going to have the same general gist. Okay, they're going to include the same elements. They're going to have the same numbers. We should be going up to number 118 up here. But yeah, don't be too concerned about the little differences. It's not a big deal. Okay, so elements. So all things are made of atoms. Remember we called matter stuff. So anything that we would consider stuff is made up of atoms. Okay, so this mask right here, this is made up of atoms. This computer that I have is made up of atoms. This desk that I'm resting my computer on is made up of atoms. And these things are super stinking tiny. We talked about in class a little bit. If I were to pluck a hair out of my head and then you would take a look at the width of that hair, how thin it is, it would take about 500,000 atoms lined up to match that width, match the thickness of that hair. Okay, so they're really stinking small, but those are the building blocks of everything. Okay, everything is made up of atoms. And when we're talking about specific types of atoms, we call them elements. And that's what the periodic table shows, okay? As you can see, right now we've discovered 118 different types of atoms, or different elements, and these are the 118 things that make up everything. All right? So you can see right here, this would be silver. We would just have tons and tons of atoms of silver right here to make up this block. Right here we have copper. Right here we have gold. And you've probably heard of all three of those. Well, those are all elements. All right, those are building blocks of everything. All right, and then so here we have periodic table. That's where periodic table comes in. Periodic table is just an organized way of showing the elements or types of atoms that have been discovered or made. Like we talked about, there are 118 of them in the periodic table. It's just a table that shows us the different types of atoms, different types of elements that have been made. And this is actually a really organized way of putting these elements that have been discovered. And we're not going to get into that in this video. We don't want to make it too complicated just yet. But just know that there is a pattern that this table follows that organizes the elements in a real nice way for us, okay? But that's all the periodic table does. It just shows us the different atoms, different elements that have been discovered in an organized way. Next, we're going to talk about groups and periods. So you can see right here off to the top left corner, it's kind of blurry, but it says group, and then right here it says periods. So groups are going to be our columns, all right? And there's 18 of them, and we would go straight down. So if you follow my mouse, go starting at hydrogen right here at the top left, we go straight down. This would be group 1. Okay, take a right. We start at number 4 where it says beryllium, or Be. We're going straight down. That would be group 2. And then column 3 would be right here, and then we go all the way down to 18. Okay, so groups are going to be our columns. If I were to ask you, which group is helium in, Ag, you would say group 18, right? Because it's in the 18th column. And then we also have periods. So periods are going to be our rows. So right here with helium, we're going to find period 1, and then we're going to go straight across, and that is period 1. And then the next row would be row 2. We would call that period 2. If I were to ask you which period oxygen is in, so number 8, you would say it's in period 2 because it's in the second row. And then atomic number and atomic symbol. So atomic number is just that number at the top. And we had those numbered if we go back to our normal periodic table. This one, it has them all numbered off all the way to 118. So those numbers at the top are going to be what we call atomic numbers. And I'm not going to get into what that number means just yet, but just know when we have that nice whole number at the top, that is our atomic number, and there are 118 of them. So iron's atomic number is 26. Oxygen's atomic number is 8. And then atomic symbol, that is just the abbreviation that we use in the center of each box, okay? So iron is going to be Fe. That's its atomic symbol. And then oxygen's is just O. We just use the letter O for that atomic symbol. All right? So those are just a few things that I wanted to use to get you guys started here. I'll bring this back up. So go ahead right now on Google Classroom and fill out that little questionnaire that I posted, and maybe use this video to help you out. All right, awesome. Thanks, guys.